It's my country too. What do I think? What do you think? My career has been about law and order. Every city, state, and federal law to enforce it to its fullest. And that's where I stand, right and wrong. Right is right, wrong is wrong. And also, I believe in God. Yes, I'm a Christian, but then again, I see other Christians supporting wrong. Then one may say, well, killing babies is wrong too. But then again, every time a law is passed, some new element always come out of it that can be harmful and destructive, like the life of a mother. And I think something's wrong with that. A mother shouldn't die before the fetus. We put so much emphasis on the unborn that we're killing the living. Something's wrong with that. What are your thoughts about that? How do we heal this division among us? Listen to this. Here's an article here, a statement that's from one of our founding fathers. And it says here, government is instituted for the common good, for the protection, safety, prosperity, and happiness of the people, and not for the profit, honor, or private interest of any one man, family, or class of men. And that's from one of our forefathers of the Constitution, John Adams. When was America great for you, ever great for you? And when I watch and listen to things like getting rid of the Affordable Care Acts, aka Obamacare, think about all the people that may be supporting an individual that's going against their own interests, really, that have pre-existing conditions. And as we get older, we have pre-existing conditions. You may be diabetic. One may even consider, you got high blood pressure, and people, your insurance can decline payment. Think about that. Millions, tens of millions of people are going against their own interests to get rid of the Affordable Care Act. That doesn't make sense to me. So what's really motivating them? I've had people tell me, hey, it's black and white. They stick with their side. We're going to stick with our side. No, American is bigger than that. We're a melting pot now. Have you noticed? In 2018, it was about 14% of this country are biracial, had biracial kids. That's a lot of people, 14%. We're all entwined now. We're all married, live together, great friendships. And so right is right, wrong is wrong. We must really pay attention to what the Word of God tells us. God don't like us supporting wrong. I know I've heard this. Yeah, but killing babies, that's wrong. We got to but hey, what about the mother dying? What about God not liking liars? God don't like sinners. Sin is sin. We can't elevate one over the other. Sin is sin. God don't like sin. God don't want his people to support sin neither. But we're doing it. So what's the big factors that's making this the way it is in today's time? Neighbors bickering, arguing, not supporting one another. And before all of this, we were all getting along very well. We were socializing together, eating together, even living and marrying each other. But you do have your extremists out there. And they're ready for civil war. Let's not kid ourselves, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. There are people truly wanting to wage civil war. Now, I would say they are a minority, but they do exist. I have some experiences that you would be find hard to believe. Even in my professional career, not just that, from my life growing up in the state of Louisiana, having to, during the integration period, going to a school in a white community and facing terror. It was like nothing you've ever seen. I'm in the seventh grade. Then go to a high school at another white community and having a major race riot. And people rose up and said they weren't taking it anymore. Keep in mind, everybody's got guns now and everybody's trained. So it doesn't matter who you are. One may think, well, we have more guns than the others. It only take one bullet. Think about that. That would be the worst civil war ever known to man on this planet. Because there is no other country like the United States that's got weapons the way we do. And we're all fully armed. Me too. No one's going to go down easy without a fight. But hey, we have laws that keeps us in order. And it's about obeying those laws, enforcing those laws, because it's all about keeping the peace. I want to be happy. You want to be happy. You want your children to be happy and also prosperous. We all want that. It doesn't matter who you are because God created us all. He created us in his image. And how do you know that you are a child of God? By the love that we show for one another. Are you showing love for your neighbor? Or are you just only loving your own kind? No one else matters. And that can come across economic as far as money. No one knows what those that have fewer dollars compared to those that have a lot of money. The guys that's got a lot of money, they don't understand your flight. They don't understand that. But let's open our eyes, guys. It's something we don't like that we know. And there's something that we don't like. I don't like on both parties. Let's face it. But the thing about one person is saying she'll bring the other one to the table. Some of you don't like for as women governing. But let's face it, in our social services areas, child protective services, and state and federal governments, there are all sorts of women supervisors. They can govern because there are policies in place that governs things. And if we violate those policies and procedures or the law, there are ways to get rid of that individual, isn't it? But we got to come back, guys. To me, the greatest time in America, the greatest for a guy like me, was in the 1990s and in the mid 2000s. It was the best. There's never been a time as good as that for a guy like me. And now all of a sudden, there's a wedge implemented, drawn right between us all. And we all feel it. Every last one of us feel it. But how do we get back on track? It comes down to right is right, wrong is wrong. It's about obeying the word of our God, your God. It comes back down to let's be cordial and peaceful to one another. We don't need violence. We went through that. We don't need that anymore. It's over. It's done with. We are the way we are because America became something that it never was. And we can make it better. But we're not going back to an era that was very destructive and harmful to other people in this land. You can forget about it. It's over. It's done with. It's not going back. I can tell you that now. But there are things that we know that's not good, and that other person is willing to bring the opposition party to the table. That's how you can get things done. I've never heard that before. Bringing the others, getting others from the other party to join your administration, where their voice can be heard, and that's how change come about. Because I got to tell you this. I know that one party is talking about the transgender stuff, and the other party don't believe it. I can tell you this. Being in the juvenile criminal justice field for 25 years, yeah, it exists. Now, what an adult does, that's their business. But when it comes down to children, there are laws that protect children. And for children to go through a particular process like this, and yes, they've gone through processes like this. You can ask Chloe Cole. Look her up. Chloe Cole. She was a child when she went through that process, had both her breasts cut off. And then when she became 18, a young adult, had tremendous regrets because we don't allow kids to do certain things because they're children. Because mental health would tell us that the frontal lobe of the mind doesn't mature to about the age of 25. And then you having young kids, 12, 13, 14 years old, taking hormones, and going through these transformations. That's inhumane. Because how many times children changes their mind? Often, don't they? I know this from experience because I've dealt with some of this. See, a lot of you jump on these bandwagons and shout to the rooftop, and you have no idea what you're shouting about because you don't have any experience. You've never been punched in the mouth. You've never experienced the pain of seeing your child go through some things that you know that's not right. So that's my beef. Yeah, I don't like that because I've always been a protector of children. And there are laws that governs that. But when you got a person that's willing to bring the opposition into their into their cabinet and hear these concerns, that's what we bring. That's what brings about a good change. Because if the other one is never heard, we're just bickering and fussing among ourselves and spewing that out to the public. And then we all go into uproar and we're repeating what that individual says, whether there's any truth or facts to it at all. We just repeat it because we all hear it all the time. People repeat what they hear because we want to believe our leaders, don't we? But our leaders can be wrong because guess what? They are sinners too. We all are. But we do strive to do what is right. We strive for justice. We strive for peace. We strive for those to protect us. And that's what I did, a protector of the public. Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. Please let me hear what you have to say. Leave a comment in the chat section. And also give me a thumbs up because that helps the algorithm and shares it with other people. But tomorrow's a new day. November 5th is here. This is the eve of it. And we don't know how it's going to turn out, but here's the solution. Let's remember sports. Let's remember baseball, football, basketball, gymnastics. Let's remember track and field. Let's remember all those games that we played as kids in high school and in college, and some in the big leagues. When we lose a game, hey, we high five or we shake hands. We congratulate the losing opponent. That's the way it's done, people. We've always done that here in the United States. That's what makes us great. And that's what's going to heal us. And that's what we must do. Take a page out of sports. And remember, if it's not right, it's wrong. And God do not like wrong. God do not like sinners, nor does God like us following and supporting sin. Robert Wilkins, aka Basketball Tall. See you next time.